Hi, another major film I've recently seen is Don't Worry, Darling, the new feature from Olivia Wilde, who co stars in the film, along with Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, Chris Pine, and Gemma Chan. It's the story of a young woman named Alice who lives in a picturesque desert town named Victory sometime in the 1950s. And she and her various neighbours all wave their husbands off to work. At the beginning of the day, they head off to the Victory Project to do uh, interesting things to progressive materials, or they stay at home, cook, clean, have cocktails, relax, and are generally kept women. But Alice starts to think that things are a bit off. There's something that she can't quite put her finger on that's strange about the town, particularly when one of her neighbours seems to attempt to kill herself. And she gradually uncovers what the Victory town really is, what the Victory Project really is, and why everyone is so enraptured by the town's de facto leader, Frank. Um, it's not a good film. Leaving aside all the gossip and supposed scandal that was associated with the making of the movie, which is all genuinely quite interesting and salacious, but doesn't have anything to do with the making of the film itself or the quality of the film itself. Not talking about that. I found the film to be quite shallow and far more interested in its own importance than in actually saying anything terribly fresh and original. It's a film about the oppression of women and about how women are forced into uh, pigeonholes and convenient roles to serve men. And obviously, that's something serious and it should be treated as such. But it's also not anything that's terribly original. Um, I was describing the vague outline of the film with my mother, who's, as I'm sure mentioned before, a keen movie viewer, uh, and she said, "Oh, it's the Stepford Wives," and it is about men making their women conform to what they want them to be. But it's the addition to that of also the prisoner, the idea of the town that can't be escaped from, that's forcing people to conform. It's a mink-lined prison where you have everything you could ever want except freedom. But it adds nothing beyond that. The resolution of the film's mystery was ridiculous and barely explained, and it shows Wilde's lack of ability, or at least lack of skill so far developed, that both the central mystery of the film and its resolution are quite badly coherent. There are various things that happen within the world of Victory which are never properly explained and never really made clear. At one point, a major inciting incident, in fact, is that Alice sees a biplane crash. This is never explained in any way, and there is no indication that it has any relevance to any of the events in the film other than provoking Alice to get to the next bit of the story. It's very clumsily written. I was rather startled to see that the original version of the script was actually written by two brothers who were, in fact, Dick Van Dyke's grandsons, um, and had been on the blacklist of the best unproduced screenplays in circulation. The blacklist has a reputation for producing films which are very poor, as they are generally films that are perceived to be the best amongst unproduced screenplays because they can be easily pitched and they can be easily sold. This is definitely one of those because it's a one-line pitch. It's the Stepford Wives meets the prisoner. Um, Harry Styles' performance as Alice's husband, I thought was serviceable. I was impressed by his performance in Dunkirk. This is his first major role. He's fine. Wilde was fine. Pugh was generally good. The performances, however, are not especially strong because the characters are so poorly developed. Um, Pine's few scenes as Frank, the charismatic leader of the town, were interesting and engaging because the character's ambiguity of him being superficially charming and gregarious, but also clearly hiding a personal agenda, was quite engaging, and Pine was an interesting and worthwhile choice for the role. It's just that for all the surface gloss, for all the pretty pictures, for all the beautiful designs and environments and costumes and cars, and photography and all of that, the film has nothing original to say. It could have been made at any time in the last 50 years and really been exactly the same. Um, and its infatuation with its own importance, that it's an important film with tackling real issues and really with something to say. It is tackling real issues that need to be dealt with and need to be addressed. But it's not doing them in a way that's in any way original or particularly engaging or particularly coherent. And the film's failure to cohere into any kind of rational whole means that any argument that it's trying to make completely falls apart. It's undermined by Wilde's lack of ability as both um, director and project supervisor. And as a result, it's quite a weak film, quite a badly made film, and one of the worst I've seen this year.